I'm scrapper, but I'm what I call a considered scrapper. So I do audition things. Like I don't just pick up any two fabrics and go, okay, I'm going to use those. If I don't think they're looking good together, I'll put one back. But what I do is I will pull a colour palette. Now this is my idea of a controlled colour palette, this quilt. It's probably the most controlled one I've done. And so I sort of said green, grey, brown, blue. I did add a little bit of orange and red because it was starting to look a bit flat, but that was at the end. So what I'll do is I will probably make about maybe 2/3 of the blocks, the number of blocks.
I'm recording you.
And then when I've made 2/3, I'll put them up on the design wall, and it's at that point I edit and I think, oh, that's looking really too dark or too light or too, flat. I've not got enough contrast. I've got too many small prints. I've got too many polka dots or whatever. And then that last sort of third or so of the quilt, that's when I'll start making specific blocks. So I'll really choose fabrics for those last few blocks to add either a lot of print or a different colour, to introduce a different colour. But the first 2/3 I just make. And I don't ever think, this one was a bit different because I did have that idea of that controlled palette. But some of my other quilts that are just like totally scrappy, I don't even think when I make block 1 and block 100, if you put them side by side, you would probably never put them in a quilt together. So I don't think about, oh, is that going to go with that? I just make blocks, and then when I come to positioning them in the quilt, I just separate the ones that don't work.
I see.
But if you're making a quilt with 6 fabrics, you have to have 6 perfectly coordinated fabrics that look good together. But if you're making a quilt with 206 fabrics like I do, you can have the worst 2 fabrics in your stash in that quilt and they will work because you've got 204 in between,
Right.